An 0-2 start, and then a division rival on Thursday night. Not just any division rival. It's the freaking Buffalo Bills, who look like the same exact powerhouse they've been since Josh Allen came into the league. Do we even stand a chance? Welcome back to the 305 Gridiron. Another tough loss to a division opponent, no less, is in the books, but now we are looking ahead.
Yeah, honestly, I don't even know what to expect from this team anymore, right? I mean, hopefully it's more good than bad.
Hopefully, but that's why we're turning it over to the chat, as we always do in our preview shows. It's up to you guys to let us know who's your X factor, what's your bold prediction, not who. It could be a who, I don't know. And what is your final score right now? Throw it in the comments below. Pause the video, whatever you got to do. Throw it in the comments, and then we will revisit your takes on our reaction show on Monday when we react to however this Buffalo Bills Miami Dolphins Thursday night game goes. Spoiler, we're not expecting big things, but hey, who knows? Maybe we'll see a surprise win from our Miami Dolphins.
Crazier things have happened, man.
I don't think they have.
No, not in this rivalry, that's for sure.
Oh, man. So we have 10 storylines to look out for in this Thursday night matchup. Of course, just to give a little bit of a recap of the season so far, we lost 33-8 to the Daniel Jones-led Indianapolis Colts in Week 1. And then we lose 33-27 to our rival New England Patriots last week in a game that was very winnable and just never completed the winning, I guess. Or to put it the way Mike McDaniel put it after, to win the game, you need to win the game, not lose the game.
Who knew it was that simple, right?
Because
they certainly weren't doing it. So, I mean, it must not be that easy, right?
I mean, you sent a clip to our little Dolphins group chat that we have. I don't even know who it was. Was it Sam Acho or somebody? Yep. It was somebody in the.
It was Sam Acho.
Sam Acho. So he's all over the place on TV, but he is a Miami Dolphins fan, and essentially the point of the video was telling Mike McDaniel to stop being so damn cute and immature about everything. And I could not have put it better, dude.
It was perfectly said. It's at a certain point, stop trying to be the funny guy and start being the serious guy, because some serious things need to change, right? And obviously, last episode we were very drab, we were very direct, we were very intentional with what we were saying about this team, about our beloved Miami Dolphins, and hopefully we can, have a little bit of fun this show, right? And let's smile a little bit more and let's find some silver linings. But it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough because this opponent's no joke.
I mean, to your point, the reality is that we both want Mike McDaniel and Chris Grier and the rest of the staff gone.
Yeah,
we're not going to dwell on that every single episode.
Yep.
So we're going to try to find the light at the end of the tunnel. We have some positive things to look at in this matchup against the Buffalo Bills, which was a little tough finding.
Yes.
But there are some positive storylines to look at. And speaking of Mike McDaniel, the first one actually comes from him. So let's talk number 10 on our top 10 things storylines in this Dolphins-Bills matchup. Last time we played Buffalo, we only lost by 3. This is what Mike McDaniel said in one of his many press conferences this week. I don't know why he's had so many. So we only lost by 3 to Buffalo last time we played. I think that may have been a playoff game. I don't rightly remember, to be honest. But the question remains, does that even matter?
I don't think so, right? I mean, because season to season things change. I mean, game to game things change, right? I mean, let's take a player that's not a Miami Dolphin, right? Daniel Jones went from being the laughing stock of the team that he was on in the Giants, and now he's the number 2 passer in the league. I'm not saying he's the number 2 quarterback or he will remain the number 2 passer in the league, but I mean, situations change, right? And I think, from year to year, unless you are the Bills playing the Dolphins, things change. You get new players evolve, coaching, experience evolves a coach in and of itself, and the dynamic of the NFL changes as well with some of the new rules and whatnot. So, I think it was very interesting to see his take, which was, well, I mean, the last time they only beat us by 3.
Yeah.
In reality, it's like, okay, sure, but half the team is different, right?
Yeah.
And you've become a worse version of yourself. So, it's going to be interesting. This game is going to tell us quite a lot of how these professionals bounce back from adversity, how they deal with adversity, how our coaching staff deals with adversity. And I'm really for as upset as I am at how this team is performing and how how much I want some wide sweeping changes across this organization to kind of reset the deck. I am a true Dolphins fan, so I do want us to show something, even in a loss. I want to see something, right? So, here's for hoping.
Yeah, and just to correct myself there, I was getting the 2 years confused. The year before we played them in the playoffs. Last year we did not make the playoffs, of course. But we did. It was 30-27. It was a heck of a game. And I think what we need to do if we want to keep this close again is the same thing we did last time. I mean, in that game, we ran the ball 31 times for 149 yards with Devon Achane and Raheem Mostert, right? We don't have Raheem anymore, and he had some poignant things to say about this staff, which at the time we were offended by, but now we may kind of see the truth. But we do have Achane still, who looks better than ever, and we have Ollie Gordon, who we don't use enough. I do think that's a path forward to potentially winning this game. Time of possession has not been our friend, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. Actually, let's talk about it now because it's number 9. I didn't realize it was the next.
You know what? It's almost like we know what we're doing.
Almost like we know what we're doing. Number 9 on the top 10 storylines to watch in the Dolphins-Bills Thursday night matchup. Can Miami dictate the tempo? I just mentioned that running game will help us. Ran 31 times last time we faced off against them. Currently, we are dead last in time of possession. The Buffalo Bills are first in time of possession. We need to find a way to reverse that. It's only 2 games into the season, so statistics like that are shit. But we need to find a way to run the ball 31 times, control the clock, and score more points than the Bills. Yes, is Mike McDaniel an asshat for responding to the media the way he does? 100%. But there's a point to his terrible delivery, is that football is a very simple game. You need to control the clock and score more points than the opposing team.
Yeah, and we're gonna gloss over the irony in the football's an easy thing because you just have to do, because none of what he does is easy. However, right, all joking aside,
so true. I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, I mean, look, we'll gloss over it. I don't want to harp on Mike McDaniel too much, but I will say this: if we can find ways to start fast, and by start fast I mean string together some third down conversions, some drives early on in the game, I think it would set us up to lead into us kind of dictating tempo. I mean, it's hard to dictate tempo against a team as good as the Bills, right? I mean, let's call a spade a spade. However, we have the skill positions to do it. It's just a matter of if our team comes prepared, which the first game we were wildly unprepared. We looked like we didn't even get off the airplane. Second game, we looked a little bit better, right? I mean, and for big chunks of the game, we looked like a team that could compete in the NFL. And then we fell apart like like it was week 1 again. So the hope is that we can leverage our skill positions and keep things a little more simple from a play calling standpoint, to allow our players to play so they're not overthinking things, because I think that's where some of our specific players, a la Tyreek Hill, a la insert random 5th string tight end that we're starting because Darren Waller was a good idea, I guess. That is where we can get into trouble. So I think simplifying things even a little bit, and again, I'm trying to spin things a little more positively than our last show. So I do think it's possible, right? And I think that, Buffalo's going to be tough, but they are, and we'll talk about it later, they're dealing with some stuff too,
Yeah. And we will talk a little bit more about what they're dealing with later on, because I do think that's a larger point that I want to give its own time to. But of course, the biggest thing we're talking about when we talk about these two teams is the quarterback position. Josh Allen came into the league as a bit of an unknown coming out of
Buffalo.
Buffalo? No, he's in Buffalo. Wyoming?
I knew that. I was just testing you.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Coming out of a small school.
That's cool.
Big arm. Couldn't hit the broadside of a barn when he came into the league. Brian Daboll, I believe, is the one that worked with him on improving his arm. And now he's one of the best in the league. He has been very dominant over the Dolphins, which has been kind of crazy, averaging about 270 yards a game. So let's get into point number 8 on our top 10 storylines to look out for. It's Tua versus Josh Allen. Now, Tua had some success in our last game, and we're going to keep harping on the last game a little bit because that's the closest we've been to beating the Bills in like the last 6 years. So I'm going to keep going back to that game because that shows us what we need to do to potentially win this game. It's not because I'm harping on a game that we almost won against a rival. No, I'm looking at where we had success and seeing how we can replicate it. And in that game, we pushed the ball down the field a little more, over 8 yards per attempt there for Tua, which is good news because against the Patriots, he had 9.8 yards per, I think is that per attempt or per completion? Whatever it is. So we need to keep seeing that, and we need to minimize the interceptions. You need to have no turnovers in order to win this game. You cannot give them the ball. But in the quarterback-to-quarterback battle, we've often seen Tua actually rise to try to and almost match the opposing team's quarterback if the opposing team's quarterback is like a big storyline name. We didn't see that happen against Daniel Jones or even Drake May, but we have seen him do it against Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen and names of that ilk,
and even Mahomes, right?
Mahomes.
If it weren't for the 2 touchdown drops that Tyreek Hill had, we would have won that game. So and
that was that the second game that year because we lost. Yeah, because we lost that year 21-14 to them in the regular season, where he again elevated his play to match Mahomes. Like we need to see the elevated to it if we have any chance to outpace Josh Allen.
Yeah, and if you look kind of on the other side of the coin, and I don't like to talk up opposing team quarterbacks, right? This is the Miami Dolphins podcast. I'm a Miami Dolphins fan, and I don't like the Bills. But Josh Allen's has a passer rating of 108.8, almost 109, right? With almost 4,000 yards, 37 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions in his 14 games versus the Dolphins in his career. Now, remember, a lot of that has come in this most recent window because, to your point, it took him a few years to kind of get his sea legs under him, for lack of a better term. And he really kind of, I think year 2 or year 3, Buffalo fans were like, this dude's a bum. Get him out of here. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And then he kind of that switch flipped and he turned into a perennial All-Pro. And I think, against the Dolphins specifically in the 14 games that he's played, he's averaged, 266, 267-ish.
Something like that, yeah.
Almost 3 touchdowns and less than 1 interception. Right. So what does all of this tell us? Right. How do I, as a normal fan, not us, but the royal us.
Yeah.
When you compare Tua to Josh Allen, obviously Josh Allen has better stats, both on average points and over the longevity of his career. Yeah. However, there are areas in which Tua is better, and there are areas in which, obviously, there are many more areas in which Josh Allen is better. And if we can figure out a way to accent or highlight the areas in which Tua is good, even though he's struggling right now, and kind of make it even slightly more difficult on Josh Allen from a defensive standpoint, I think I can see an avenue in which we can keep this competitive. Do I see us winning? I will never have us winning a game against the Bills until we do it consistently. However, crazier things have happened, right? And I don't mean to be so flippant with it, but if you can take Josh Allen's legs away, first and foremost, right? I think you limit his effectiveness for half of what he does well. I mean, many years he's upwards of 500 yards rushing.
Yeah.
Plus, right? 1 or 2 years, I believe he led the team in rushing. I mean, so taking away, identifying one phase of his game because he's good at everything. But choosing one where you think it's going to hurt us most, which we all know Miami Dolphins struggle with what? Scrambling quarterback. So focusing on that.
Right now, any quarterback.
I mean, fair. We struggle, period. Not with anything. We just struggle. No, but I'm saying, hypothetically, not
overall,
but overall, right? We struggle with running quarterback. So if we can identify what we want to push all of your chips in and make him beat you, which he's more than capable of, but make him beat you in the other facets of the game, while also making sure that we are calling plays that highlight what Tua does well, tempo, intermediate to short passes, because he's super accurate, run game to open up the long ball, to keep the defense honest, like those kind of things. I think we can put ourselves in a position to make this a competitive game. And then who knows where the chips fall, right?
Yeah. I mean, Tua came out, himself in his press conferences this week and said, I don't have half the tools that Josh Allen has. And that's being self-aware, but also not giving yourself enough credit.
Pretty honest, though.
It is. I'm getting to be over the Tua era. I think it's been enough, but he does still have enough tools to come up with a surprise win occasionally.
Yes, he does.
But speaking of the Josh Allen run game ability and his ability to run, it's number 7 on our list. Can Miami slow down the Bills' running game? We just saw Josh Allen didn't even need to do anything against the Jets. Pretty much, they just handed the ball to James Cook, and he ran for 132 yards, I think it was. Yeah, and 2 scores. Yeah, he cooked. Exactly. Which is not something we see from James Cook very often, but when you look at what we've done so far this season against the run, where both the Colts and the Patriots had 2 different running backs running extremely effective against us, it makes you wonder, do we have any ability to stop not only James Cook, but the legs of Josh Allen, which is one of the running quarterbacks we've struggled against the most? And I think, to your point, that is most definitely, if you can't take away Josh's legs, then that's game over before it even starts.
Yeah, and I do think, look, I feel like I have to preface every one of these points, and I shouldn't do it, right? But look, there are positives to it. It seems like we are in such a funk with this team because, rightfully so in a lot of aspects, but the additions that we made to this roster in the offseason were made with very specific teams in mind, right? We got bigger on the offensive line. We got more depth in the defensive front 7. And some of the additions in the linebacker room are fast guys that can cover, but that can also play the run game. A la KJ Britt. KJ Britt? KJ Britt.
Yeah. I don't know.
I always think Kenny or KJ. I know.
We had this talk last episode too. We have no idea what this man's name is.
Yeah, I think it's okay. Well, we have Britt. We have Willie Gay. We have Jordan Brooks. We have some. Mika
KJ Britt. You were correct. KJ Britt.
Perfect. Yeah. So if we can just get the pieces together, get everyone doing what they're supposed to when they're supposed to, instead of on one play it's 2 out of 7, on another play it's 3 out of 7, then the next play it's only one person out of 7 that's doing what. If everyone can lock in, which we tend to lock in when we play the Bills. Now we don't always, we hardly win, but we at least put some kind of best foot forward, at least initially in games. I mean, it kind of tapers off in some of them when we're starting to get blown out. But I think we can at least make it challenging for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think the biggest way to stop the run is to put Willie Gay in instead of Dodson. I don't understand why we're hesitant to do so. And I know that we've talked up Dodson on this show because we both really like him. Mm-hmm. But this comes down to the accountability conversation that we've been having. Dodson has not been playing well. Put big play Willie Gay in there, as Balak guy would say. Mm-hmm. And get somebody with some fresh legs, with a fresh perspective, who made 2 big plays last game. Maybe he can help us stop this run better, because Dodson says he cannot keep up with Josh Allen, let alone James Cook.
And that's no shade to Dodson. I mean, look, he is who he is, right?
Yeah.
I'm still a big fan of his. I'm still glad that we signed him. I just think Anthony Weaver needs to be fluid with his, and he might be. I mean, I'm not saying he's not, but he needs to be fluid with the starting unit, right? Because Dotson is going to be better in some games than Gay is, and Gay is going to be better in some games than Dotson is. You know what I mean?
Dotson clearly better zone coverage than man.
Yes.
Playing man last week against the Patriots, just watching him
Smoked.
3 steps behind on every play. All right, let's get into number 6 here. It's the turnover battle. Neither team has been great at the turnover battle so far this season. The Bills have 2 fumble recoveries and no interceptions, although they have not given up a turnover, which is fantastic for them. Not so much for us. On the Dolphins standpoint, we have given up 4 turnovers. Wow, I just got some reverberation there. Sorry. We've given up 4 turnovers, which the sad reality of that stat is we only have 4 offensive touchdowns. So our touchdowns match our turnovers.
Yeah, it's like we have Jameis Winston at the quarterback position.
Yeah, we're golfing. We're hitting a par right now, which would be great if we were playing golf, but we're not.
Yeah.
So what do you think? How do we get on the right side of the turnover battle? I mean, that's all we heard all offseason is we needed guys who are playmakers. We needed guys to force turnovers, guys to make plays. 2 games in, we haven't even seen guys who can stop a cold, let alone make a play.
Yeah, I think, the obvious answer here is from an offensive standpoint, it starts and ends with Tua, right? Tua needs to lock in. He hasn't looked very comfortable to start the season. He's not the Tua that I'm used to seeing, right? And I know Tua is a very clickbaity player, right? There's a big triumvirate of our fan base that is just hasn't liked Tua for various reasons, some of them valid, some of them questionable. And I'm starting to get there because I'm seeing his play get worse. But before the season started, one of my biggest points in this was when it came to Tua was every year he's gotten better at something he was bad at the previous years, right? And we just need Tua to lock in. We need him to not. He seems like he's a little panicky in the pocket for whatever reason. I don't know, right? I don't know what it is. Is it the offensive line?
Both starters on his blind side are out, so that could be part of the reason.
And maybe that's it, right? And I that very well could be the answer, right? But for whatever it is, then the coaching staff needs to step up and make a game plan that negates the issues on the offensive line, aka quick reads, fast passes, stay in the run game, don't get away from the run game. Achane is the best player on this team. And I'm sorry if you disagree, not you, but you, right, the fans disagree with me, but I would wager quite a lot of money that not a lot of people would disagree with that statement. And the fact that he only ran the ball, what was it, like 8 times, 11 times last game, something like that?
He's only had 10 touches a game right now.
Like, that's criminal. Like, that is criminal. And I understand you can't get behind the sticks, and then, you can't have a lot of 3 and outs because then your defense is on the field. And the Bills are very good, to your point earlier, at sustaining drives. So our defense is getting tired and it's a snowball effect. I get it. But we have to find a way to make the game easier for Tua.
I think we have to find a way to get Minkah exploring the field more. I mean, he is our lone ranger when it comes to stopping the run right now. Yeah. The run is consistently getting to the second level, and he's the only guy back there that seems to know how to sniff out a play and make the tackle.
Yep.
But that's not what we really want from him. We want him to be out there looking for the interception, looking for the big plays, exploring center field. We want him being the big playmaker. He's the only name in that secondary that could be a big playmaker. And yet instead, he's being thrown into this, similar to what happened to Javon Holland last year. He's being thrown into the situation that's not beneficial to him. And it stinks because, we're not getting to see, of course, I love seeing him pop a guy at the line of scrimmage. And I love that every time. But I want to see him further back, helping the corners, making some plays.
And that's another challenging thing is our cornerback room. I'm sorry for those of you that are fans of the
Russell Douglas and Jack Jones corner.
Let's be completely candid and very honest with ourselves. Our cornerback room is the worst in the league by a country mile. Yeah. Right. And I'm not saying that these players don't have moments of, hey, whoa, look at that. Right. Yeah. But the majority of it isn't. So from a turnover standpoint, those turnovers are going to have to happen on the defensive side are going to have to happen from 2 places. Minkah, because no other safety we have is very good in coverage like that. Yeah. Or strip sacks, forced fumbles in the front seven. So, if one of those two kind of front seven, or let's call it one of those three, defensive line, linebackers, or safeties, if one of those three position groups can step up and really, really make a difference in the turnover battle, I think that's how this happens.
Last thing I'll say on this, and because you mentioned that sometimes you
Mhm.
get whoa moments. I have loved seeing Dante Trader Jr. get some
Yeah.
playing time,
Mhm.
and Jason Marshall get some playing time, two rookies that we drafted this year. But the one play Dante Trader Jr. gets in May's face, he does what he is supposed to do, and there's nobody there to pick up the
Mhm.
pieces when he inevitably, I don't know if he tipped the ball or if he just got his hands in May's face, whatever it was, May dumps it over him and the running back's wide open. Like,
Yeah. Yeah,
we're gonna talk.
that was the Ramondre Stevenson, right?
Yeah,
Where you
that
ran
wasn't the
it.
55-yard one.
Oh, it wasn't.
That
Okay.
was against Brooks, I think, unfortunately, because I'm going to talk
Yeah.
about Brooks in a positive light later. But yeah, that was the little dump off. I think it may have been Trayvon actually, and it was like 25 yards on third and long.
But still, right?
Yeah. But we just need to, like, we talked about that last year with Chop, right? Like,
Mhm.
we saw the potential in Chop. He was getting there. He just didn't know what to do once he got there. And I think we've seen a little bit of that with Trader already. Like,
Mhm.
he's being brought in as a pass rush specialist from the secondary, essentially.
Yeah. Mhm.
And he's got the speed, he's got the power. We just need to see him put it all together and learn, like, hey man, get those hands up, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like, yeah, you got to May, but you could have beat the play by just batting the ball down.
Mhm.
And I think that's how we're going to start to cause turnovers. We got a lot of young guys back there that need to start to pick up on these little tiny things that they can do. Because if he bats that ball, maybe there's a linebacker waiting, right?
Exactly. And we have to remember, and I know this is I'm not using this as an excuse to justify anything. So please understand that. Over half of our team is new.
Yeah.
Over half this team was not on this roster last year. So, there are going to be growing pains, sure. None of it justifies what we've put on the field in the first 2 weeks.
No.
But at some point you have to believe. I mean, I fully believe in team chemistry and the more you played, I mean, having played team sports all of my life in multiple different sports, the more you play together, the more it becomes nonverbal and the
Yeah.
better players get.
Yeah. So let's just recap what numbers 10 through 6 were in the top 10
Yes.
storylines that we have for the Dolphins and Bills Thursday night game. Last time we played the Bills, we only lost by 3. Does that matter? We say not really. Clock control. Can Miami dictate the tempo? We are dead last in time of possession. The Bills are first. Josh Allen versus Tua Tagovailoa. Which story is going to be told? Tua has actually played up against Josh Allen in recent games. Can he make it to the next level and get a victory against Allen? Can we slow down the Bills' running game? We talked about how it's a two-headed monster, but not with two running backs. It's Josh Allen and James Cook. We have not done a very good job of stopping Allen on the run. Can we make a change there? Can we see maybe more Willie Gay to help combat that? And then, of course, number 6 is the turnover battle. We have not won a single turnover battle yet this season. Can we do it against the Bills, who have not given up a turnover yet this season? But this is a division game, so I think that there is plenty of potential there. So you let us know what you think of numbers 10 through 6. Give us your 10 through 6 because we're about to get into our top 5.
Yeah, and starting at number 5, right? Special teams. Is it a game changer or is it a liability? Right. We saw some really good things from a special teams standpoint to start the season in both games 1 and 2. Yep. We saw some really big and awesome things happen last week from a special team standpoint. Break it down for us. What are your thoughts?
Well, the first thing I'll say is that Riley Patterson has been a surprisingly good depth addition when we lost Sanders in the preseason. We had no idea what we had no idea what we were going to do at kicker. There were some veteran kickers that got released, and we thought, well, maybe we could pick up one of these guys. And then Greer picks up Riley Patterson as a kid that none of us had really heard of before. Listen, he hasn't done anything extraordinary, but he's 2 for 2 on the field goals. He's 3 for 3 on extra points. That's all he's been asked to do. Yeah. So kudos to him. Jake Bailey is Jake Bailey. He's been average. But on 3 punts he has 2 inside the 20. I'll take that. That's a 67%.
And 1 inside the 10.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'll take that. So from a kicking perspective, it's been fantastic.
Mhm.
Let's go to the return perspective. I think Eskridge is a top tier returner, or at least I
Mhm.
thought he was in the preseason. But Malik Washington has pulled a hold my beer situation here. He gets the punt return for the touchdown last
Yeah.
week, and he has looked incredible on kick
Mhm.
returns. So I think that we should keep him deploying him out there.
Yeah.
The things I'm a little confused on is why we put Tyreek out as a punt returner at times. Are you not confident enough? I mean, Malik just returned one for a touchdown. Are you not confident enough in his abilities as a punt returner? And then, of course, after the punt return against the Patriots for a touchdown, we immediately let up a kick return for a touchdown, which
On
is
the very
not
next play.
the very next play. Not a
Yeah.
great sign for
No.
our coverage unit. So there is a lot of positives on the special teams unit, more positives on special teams than
Mhm.
any other unit we have. But it's everybody who is a casual fan to even maybe the more hardcore fans are just going to
Mhm.
look at that kick return for a touchdown and say, even their special teams is crap. And I just don't think so. I think the
Mm-mm.
special teams could be the game changer in this game.
Yeah, perfectly said, right? I mean, words right out of my mouth about this being the potential reason why we could win. I'm not saying we are, but that we could win a game. Because to your point, I think, and it's Greg Ackerman, is that his name?
Yes,
I
the
don't,
special
I don't,
teams
it's
coordinator.
Greg.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
couldn't remember his first name. He's been a blessing for this team, right? I mean, where we came from, and I'm not going to mention his name, our previous special teams coach, he does not deserve to be mentioned outside of
Fair
that
enough.
guy.
Yeah.
Um, Ackerman's come in year one and has turned an entire room around.
Hmm.
We're playing with grit. You can see the special teams unit playing together. They're blocking well. They're gunning well and trying to block. They came close a couple times against the Patriots and blocking a punt. You saw the return touchdown. You saw, the questionable hold my beer. Nope, just kidding. It's going to be Eskridge. Who's it going to be? Who's going to catch
Oh,
the ball?
geez. Yeah,
Right.
I forgot all about that
So,
already.
there are some things that still need to be cleaned up, but man, this special teams unit has looked like the kind of beacon on this team so far, right? When you look at offense, defense, and special teams, if I were to ask you, what unit do you think has been playing the best so far? In my opinion, it's the special teams unit.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
easy. 100%.
easy. And speaking of, right, mental errors and momentum swings, that is actually number 4 on our list. Mental errors and momentum swings.
Yeah.
We have been plagued by penalties, false starts, the kind of brain farty oops moments, right? Tyreek Hill on that interception that was overthrown by Tua,
Hmm.
should have cut in front. Instead, he cut over and then thought he was with Patrick Mahomes. And instead of continuing east and west to continue the run into the empty zone, he broke north and south, thinking that Tua was going to, change who he is. So those kind of mental lapse moments are things that I will ask you. Do you think we can clean up, especially given what the Bills do to mistakes?
I mean, first things first, I have to apologize to Tua here because
Yeah.
Tyreek is a problem to the
Mm-hmm.
offense because he free for alls whatever he wants to do out there. So
Mm-hmm.
that play you mentioned, I just saw the replay on Kurt Warner's. Kurt Warner
Yeah.
does a breakdown, and Kurt is so good at this, and he shows it's 3 slants. So Tua is expecting all 3 receivers to slant in. First, Tyreek doesn't take the right angle, and he goes around the outside of his corner instead of inside the corner. And then when Tyreek gets to the spot where Tua expects him to be, to your point, he turns and cuts up field instead. So Tua's throwing it to where Tyreek is meant to be, and Tyreek is nowhere to be found.
Mm-hmm.
So then on the overthrow of Tyreek that we were harping on in our reaction show and everybody's been harping on all week, he does the opposite. Tua's like, oh, he's going to cut it upfield. And this time Tyreek sits. How is Tua supposed to know what this guy's going to do? It's something different every single time he's out there. And
Mm-hmm.
as far as we can tell, without having access to the playbook, it's not exactly what he's supposed to do. So,
Right. Yeah.
When it comes to mental errors, I think Tyreek Hill is the biggest mental error we have on this entire team. He is just consistently doing whatever he wants, not following any of the procedures, not following any of the plays. And then the quarterback is getting blamed, but it's like, the quarterback has every play in his mind. When he hikes the ball, he sees his receivers running where they're meant to be and throwing it to those spots. The NFL game is so fast. Like we can't fathom how fast the game is, right? We've never been on an NFL field during a live play. But
You don't know that.
I know you haven't. But like that's how fast it is. The fans can't even imagine how quickly that Tua or any other quarterback in the NFL has to make a decision. And if your wide receiver isn't where he's meant to be, that decision looks freaking stupid on the quarterback's part. But like I've seen Kurt Warner break down Bears games where everybody's blaming Caleb Williams and it was DJ Moore's fault, right? And even Patrick Mahomes has been dealing with this since Tyreek left. None of his young receivers can run a route the appropriate way. So just wanted to get out there. I apologize for those two plays in particular that I really dug into Tua on. But that's just the beginning of the mental errors that we have that we are facing. And to answer your question, can we clean that up? I don't think that Mike McDaniel gets fired just because we lose this game. I think he gets fired if we lose this game and it's still riddled with mental errors. And truthfully, I think it will be because it's a higher level opponent we haven't faced yet. This isn't a team that typically plays up to the opponent. We've seen 3 years in a row where we needed to win an important game at the end of the season and we get destroyed.
Yeah.
I do tough, think man. I like not even to be negative. I just think that if McDaniel gets fired, it's this after this game because the team just looks like they're not there.
Yeah, and it doesn't just end at like key players. I mean, you have big plays, massive plays that are being called back because of hands to the face or illegal shift or. I mean, I know it's hard to bash on Malik Washington because I think he's been one of the shining stars of this team so far. A player that I am genuinely excited about, and a player that I feel like you can build a room around, right? Eventually, right? He's got a lot of, and Kyle Crabb said this. He's got a lot of Jarvis Landry in him, right?
Oh, he does. That's a good point. Yeah,
yeah. But those kind of where he jumps and kind of leans as the ball's getting snapped, he makes a play. He gets it down the field for 15, 17 yards. He gets a flag because he jumped off sides, right? So it's those kind of things where if we can clean up, you're taking away the opponent's opportunity to capitalize on a mistake, which, to your point earlier, the Bills are phenomenal at. You know what I mean?
And the crazy part is we have 13 accepted penalties against us. That's below the NFL average right now. So it's not that we're getting penalized a ton. It's not even the penalties, and like some of the penalties have called back big plays, like to your point, Malik with the illegal shift, and then we've had a few plays where illegal blocks on the opposite side of the field where it's like you're not even involved in the play.
Like, what are you doing?
It's not even. It's to me, it's more the procedural errors, like not getting the play in time, so having to call a timeout or getting a delay of game. It's too much.
Yeah. Agreed 100%. And it'll be a big factor in, how this game plays out. I think it'll be a big thumbprint on who wins this game.
It'll make or break if he gets fired this week or
it
later.
Sure the hell will.
Yeah.
And, the comedy, what's comical, the little comedian in me is what I'm trying to say. It's like, okay, well, maybe I take the L so that we can get the dub in a clean house kind of thing. But I'm a fan. I will never wish us to lose. So no. Okay. Now, speaking of momentum and things that can kind of swing the way the game plays out. Number 3 on our list, right? Number 3, the Bills, unfortunately. And I say this in 100% honesty. I want to face the team, every team at their strongest, with their strongest players. So I know where we're at. Yeah. The Bills, unfortunately, for their team, have been hit with a slew of injuries, right? Especially coming into a short week where they played on Sunday, got hit with a bunch, and then, we're playing on Thursday Night Football. So let me run through some of these things at a high level, and, I'll pass it over to you and you can dive into each one of them. So Let's see. Josh Allen left the game with a face injury. He seems to be fine. I think they were so far ahead of that game against the Jets that they were just more precautionary with him, right? Matt Milano suffered a pectoral injury after what you and I were talking about, an absolute incredible start to the season.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if he plays, right?
He's been downgraded to out now.
For sure.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
I made this note yesterday, but yeah, he's been downgraded to out.
Good. Awesome. And I'll cover one more. I'll let you, kind of dive into these and add some more on your list. But,
Sure.
Nickel cornerback, Teron Johnson and linebacker, Shaq Thompson, both missed last week and are questionable. Those are two big absences on their team, right? So if you're noticing here, there's some key players at key positions that specifically have given Miami headaches in the past that are either questionable or are already ruled out. In Matt Milano's case, that could help.
Yeah, I think this helps to lending a shootout again. We lost 30-27 to them last time. Their offense is perfectly healthy. I don't have the full list of their IR guys, but just looking at their depth chart currently, there's not a lot of red on the offensive side. The defensive side is a completely different story. They lost their first round rookie Maxwell Hairston to IR.
They did. I didn't know that.
On the defensive line, they have two guys suspended, and Larry Ogunjobi and Michael Hoyt. And they've lost Ed Oliver has also been downgraded in this game to out.
Oh, for sure. That's for sure now. Because last I looked, it was questionable. So that's okay.
Right. The guys who are still questionable, Shaq Thompson, like you mentioned, and then two of their nickel corners, Cam Lewis and Teron Johnson.
Cam Lewis is a big loss. That's
where I kind of want to focus in on, because that's where a guy in Malik Washington can really take advantage, or just lining up Tyreek against the slot corner. They're looking at potentially playing a third string nickelback. Now, these guys are questionable. They could, one or both of them could play, but if they're both out, we're looking at going against Jordan Hancock. I don't even know who that is. So
it's that guy.
Yeah,
in Buffalo.
That guy. Yeah. That doesn't mean that their defense will be easy to run over, though. I mean, they signed Joey Bosa this offseason, right? They still got Daquan Jones and Gregory Rousseau and AJ Espinoza, who was giving us freaking fits.
Jesus.
And then a linebacker. Yep, the Milano loss is huge, but they've been dealing with that for 3 years in a row. This guy just can't seem to stay on the field, unfortunately, because if I had to pick a Bills player that I really like, it's Matt Milano.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
But the guy just has, his body and him don't get along, apparently. So that all lends to us having a chance against their defense. We just have to outlast their offense, right? Yeah, we're going to have to score on every play, or every drive, I mean.
And some capacity, right?
Right, because our defense is just as bad without the injuries.
Right.
Our defense is worse without the injuries. So I do think that the injury bug hitting the Bills is an advantage for us. Now, again, like you said, I would like to face teams at their best, but I also want to win. So I'll take any sort of advantage we can get. And missing Ed Oliver and Matt Milano by themselves is a big boost to us. So I'm hopeful we can take advantage of that.
Yeah, maybe Josh Allen sits out.
That would be nice.
Maybe he does us a favor.
Mitchell Trubisky would tear us apart, and
he would.
He would just come in and look just like Josh Allen.
They could not have a quarterback, and they'll probably still win. All right, but all joking aside, let's keep it moving. But before we move on to the final two, I want to throw it to the chat.
Yep.
All right, please let us know. Are you concerned with anything specifically? Are you excited that the Bills might have some of their key players out or questionable? What are your thoughts about mental errors? Is there something, or how would you change or fix the mental errors that you've noticed in the first 2 weeks? We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear your thoughts, and we will definitely comment to anything and everything that you guys put in the chat. So number 2 on our list out of 10, can the Dolphins offense stay alive late in games? I'm going to just stop there and I'm going to cede the floor to you, sir.
Listen, honestly, they were way better last week than the first week, which is all I can really ask, is that they come out looking like a team that actually wants to score some points, which is something they did last week. But, we talked about it in the reaction show. They had 2 drives. The defense held. They had 2 drives to win the game, and they couldn't get it done in either drive. And Tua gets sacked in both drives. We had procedural penalties in both drives, and it's like, man, this ties in perfectly, I think, with the mental mistakes. Like
the mental health.
The mental health might be a problem on our team too. I think if they can clean up the mental mistakes, the offense can stay alive late, because that's what killed those drives. We were moving the ball easily.
Yeah.
It wasn't like Tua was sitting back there and holding it for 10 seconds and couldn't find anything. No, I mean, we were moving the ball and it just kept getting pulled back because of stupid mistakes. I do think that the offense will need to stay alive late if we stand a chance in this one, and I think they can. We're looking just for more improvement over the previous week.
Yeah, and I'll talk about this specific individual in our next segment. But I really hope Mike McDaniel doesn't screw the pooch, right? Yeah. I really hope that he calls a smart game, because when you're moving the ball with tempo up and down the field and you're averaging 6-7 yards per play, and then you get into the deep red zone, which, I call the deep red zone 7 yards to the goal line, right? 10 yards to the goal line, whatever you want to say. And all of a sudden we start doing screen passes again behind the line of scrimmage. I have to question that decision, right? I mean, I'm not a professional coach. I don't pretend to be, but I do study the game, and there's concern there because it's happening where there's smoke, there's fire, right? It's happening a little too frequently. So hopefully late games he makes the right decisions, which would then trickle down into our players making the right decisions to levy your points.
And that's so frustrating. 9.8 yards per completion last week for Tua is fantastic. And then you would just, like, to your point, fall back to the screen game and the flat game. And come on, man, you were moving the ball by slinging it down the field. Like, keep going.
Sometimes I feel like he overthinks things, and I don't want to talk too much because I'm going to talk about him.
Yeah, let's talk about him later.
Yeah. All right, so we're getting to the last point here, and then I will pass it back to you, sir. Number one on our 10 keys to this game. Number one, Miami is. I don't know why I did that. Miami is 2-13 against Buffalo since Josh Allen was drafted. That is not wonderful in any way, shape, or form.
Not great.
Yeah, that's an understatement of the year. So let me pose to you 3 questions. I'm going to pose them all 3 to you, and only because I know we have them written down so you can see them.
Yes, I can.
And I would love to hear your take, and then we can have a conversation on it, right? So question number 1, why is Josh Allen so dominant against us? What is it about us that he smacks us around so easily? Yep. How do we turn the tide in this matchup, if we can turn the tide in this matchup? Is there really any chance that we win this game? I mean, honestly, obviously your gut reaction is going to be yes, because we're Dolphins fans. Yes, we're going to win the game. Okay, I should say not us, but the royal us, right?
Yeah.
Is there genuinely, in your heart of hearts, even if everything has to go 100% accurate, do you even see a way, if that happens, that we win this game?
First, why is Josh Allen so dominant against us? Because we've had, for the past 15 games that he's played us, had mediocre linebackers in the middle of the field. And I know that we really like Jordan Brooks and we really like Terrell Dodson, but they are not elite players by any stretch of the imagination. And it takes an elite linebacker to stop the playmaking ability of a Josh Allen. Because what you see him do against us regularly is that when the play breaks down, he'll either find the running back in the flat, who's typically wide open, or he'll run it himself down a lane that is typically wide open. So no matter what we do, if the pass rushers get to him, he finds a way out of it. And I think
infuriating.
It comes down to undisciplined linebacker play at the end of the day. I mean, you have 2 guys in the middle who are meant to stop that sort of thing, and they just never happens. I mean, you can like Jordan Brooks and Tyrell Dodson as much as you want, but when the stats are the stats, man, and when we're facing the Bills, they are
non-existent,
not there. Yeah. How do we turn the tide? Play Willie Gay Jr. alongside Brooks. I know I keep harping on this in this episode, but I mean, I just truly think we need a fast guy with instincts in there.
Yeah.
He's not an elite player. He's a backup linebacker on a Miami Dolphins unit
for a reason.
Not very good. Yeah. But if you're talking about a guy who's going to go out there and throw his body around without any thought about anything, right? Any thought about, like, am I going to get hurt on this play? None of that. He just instinctually, quickly runs at something. He is not afraid to go one-on-one with Josh Allen.
No, he's the type of player. Him and Britt are both kind of players that are like, give it to me. Give me that assignment.
He will meet Josh in the hole. Easy. Let's go. Him and KJ Britt are great friends. We saw it in that episode of the Dolphins thing. Like, maybe we need that kind of chemistry out there. Play 3 linebackers. I don't give a crap. The pass rush ain't getting there anyways. What's the difference? Like,
yeah, except for Chubb.
Yeah. And then last, is there any chance we win this game? If we 100% play the way if every player on our team plays up to 100% of their potential, we could win this game for sure. For sure. The Bills are hurting. That helps us. We have maintained Josh in the past. Not that we've held him to any like ridiculously low numbers,
Yeah.
but like the last time we faced him, he had 230 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. Now, for us, that's containing Josh Allen, right?
Yeah.
Like that's as good as we can hope for when Josh only has 230 yards and even 3 touchdowns is containing him. Like
terrifying, isn't it?
Yeah. Like that's the way we win this game. So yes, there's 100% a way we can win. I think, and the NFL's crazy, dude. Teams that aren't supposed to win all the time.
I mean, you want to know how crazy the NFL is? Russell Wilson is number 1 in the league in passing, and Daniel Jones is number 2. Let that sink in for a minute.
You're talking passing yards, by the way. We're talking.
Yes.
Yeah, passing yards. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, look, the Saints were supposed to be a rollover team this year. They have 2 hard-fought games.
Yep.
Right? They barely lose to San Francisco. They put up a good matchup week 1. Right? And you could say that about a bunch of the 0-2 teams. There's 10 0-2 teams right now.
Including Kansas City.
And I think the only one who has really looked worse than us is Carolina.
Oh. Sorry. I was raising my hand for the
Miami Dolphins. We scored 27 points last week, so we can't pretend like we're god awful.
Yeah, well, we've given up 33 in every game. So
let's not talk about that. Ignore that. We can cherry pick stats all we want to.
Yeah, bleep that out. I will say it's where they being the Bills are experiencing some key positional injuries, right? Mm-hmm. Which will help the Miami Dolphins. Yeah. I think what levels the playing field in that case is the fact that they're playing at home. Right. Mm-hmm. And that's where I believe, right? I'm not mistaken on that. We're playing in Buffalo.
We're in Buffalo. Yeah, I forgot about that.
That is a very tough place to play on a good day, let alone a team coming in 0-2 with a lot of, people on the hot seat and, your captain's getting frustrated in media sessions. So you can tell that they're struggling mentally with some of the stuff that's going on, and understandably so. Your competitors, right? I mean, it's not easy to lose. So yeah, I mean, I don't have much to add. I think you crushed it, right? And if I was to answer these 3 questions in one sentence, probably 2, knowing me, why is Josh Allen so dominant against us? Because he's Josh Allen, and because he's, as much as it tastes like vinegar, he's fucking good. Mm-hmm. He is an elite quarterback. I'm sorry if you are a Miami Dolphins fan and you don't want to hear it, but he is an elite quarterback in this league.
If you're a Miami Dolphins fan and you don't think he's elite, I think you need to wake up.
Yeah, maybe slap yourself, splash some water on your face, right, and get back into reality. How do we turn the tide? I mean, honestly, I don't know if we can with the current iteration of this team. And that's very hard for me to say because, again, I bleed this team. I bleed aqua and orange. I've been a fan since birth. I've been a fan for almost 40 years. And I don't know. I mean, they are just marketably better at 2 key positions, if you will, on a football field. They have an elite quarterback in Josh Allen, and they have, in my opinion at least, an elite head coach in Sean McDermott. I can't say that we're better at them at those 2 things, and it's not, really close. So it's going to be interesting. Hopefully we can keep it close. And like you said, hey, you know what? A broken clock is right twice a day, right? So
unless it's missing its arms, and then it's not right ever.
Well, it depends if you have 2 arms or not. Anyways, all right. So yeah, that's 10 through 1. I don't know if you want to do a quick recap, or if you want to jump right into predictions, X factors, hot takes, et cetera, et cetera.
Let's recap the top 5. Special teams, are they a game changer or a liability? Mental errors and momentum swings. Can we get over the hump of the mental errors that we've looked at for the first 2 weeks? The Bills hit the injury bug. How big of a deal is that? They're missing Ed Oliver and Matt Milano on defense. Can we take advantage of that? It's something we've struggled with in the past. Can the Dolphins offense stay alive late in games? We've seen them collapse late in games now against the Patriots last week, last season, plenty of times. Can we continue a solid offensive play throughout the game? And we have a 2-13 record against the Bills since Josh Allen has taken over. Can we fix it? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Please, we want to know all of your responses to our top 10 storylines going into the Dolphins versus Bills Thursday night matchup. It's going to be a tough matchup for our Dolphins to come out of victorious, but we are hopeful that we will pick up a surprise win here, even if it does extend our coach another week or two. I don't have any faith that he'll make it to next season, so I'm not that worried. All right, Josh, let's move into the final segment of the day. That is our predictions for the Thursday night matchup between the Dolphins and the Bills. At the beginning of the show, we asked you for 3 things: your X factor, your bold prediction, and your final score. So we're going to start here with Josh's X factor for this game. An X factor is a player, coach, or
position
something that affects the game in a monumental way.
Yeah, and for me, this was actually one of the easier ones that we've done. Right, of all of the games, there's a few.
Yep.
This one was very cut and dry for me, and that's Mike McDaniel.
Yeah,
right. Mike McDaniel needs to come through for this team. He needs to be the head coach of the Miami Dolphins and coach the Miami Dolphins like we've seen him do dating back into 2023, right? No more of these procedural problems where you can't get the play in and where you're burning unnecessary timeouts. None of these random, after driving the length of the field, you stop doing what is working and you go to these random screen passes because you're trying to outsmart yourself, because you're definitely not outsmarting the other team. And things like sticking with the run a little bit more, right? Put the ball in your players and your best players' hands and let them do something with it. And one of our best players happens to be a running back. Yeah. And the fact it's criminal, and we said it earlier, that he's averaging only 10 carries, 10 touches as a running back. Well, no, 10 carries, because he's getting, probably another.
I think it's 10 touches.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Jesus, that's even more. Mm-hmm. So receptions and rushing total.
Atrocious. Yeah.
That is criminal. We just need to see him simplify things, not be so stubborn, and just let your players play. You're paying these superstar players, whether or not you agree with whether they're superstars or not. You're paying them to be superstars, but you're hamstringing them by your play calling decisions, right? So just kind of throw the first 2 games out of the season, come into this with fresh, a clear head, hopefully, and let's make some magic.
Yeah. Sorry, the Patriots game boosted Achane up a little bit. 14.5 touches, still not where you want it to be. My X factor for this game is actually, I've talked a lot about it in this one. I think it's Jordan Brooks. I think the linebacker position is extremely important when you're playing a quarterback like Josh Allen, who can make plays on a whim. It doesn't matter if your pass rusher gets to him or not, unless they're actually wrapping him up and sacking him, which is another problem we have. So I think Jordan Brooks is going to need to, I don't know, pull some power from the gods in heaven or some shit to really just take over the middle of that field. I mean, we can't have running backs slipping out of the backfield wide open. We can't have Josh Allen having a wide open running lane when the play breaks down. And I put this on Jordan Brooks because he's the best linebacker we got. So I think that if he has an amazing game, then we are in it. Then we are in this game with a potential win if Jordan Brooks can have a good game.
I like it.
Yeah, buddy, let's go on to bold predictions next. And I'm going to start, but I want to preface mine by saying that my bold prediction does not necessarily align with my final score prediction.
Not even close.
No. It's not even close. But I will say that I like to be extremely bold in these situations. So I think that my bold prediction is that Riley Patterson kicks a 58-yard field goal in the closing seconds to win the game.
Yeah, if it comes down to him kicking a 50, I'm shitting my pants thoroughly, like thoroughly shitting my pants. But that would be great. Could you imagine the storyline and the pivot of how everyone feels about this team if this happens?
I mean, it would instantly shoot up power rankings across the board.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy. I like it. Hey, that's bold. That is certainly bold. A practice squad kicker that gets called up for his last, because you can only call him up 3 times before you have to make a decision, right? This would be game 3. That means we've called him up 3 times for him to go out and do this.
Yeah, it would get him signed to another team too if Miami didn't sign him. I mean, 58 yards is no joke.
No, not at all. My turn. All right,
your turn, buddy. Let's go. Jump in. Right. What is your bold prediction?
So mine's a scenario, right? I'm going to play out the ending of the game for you.
Ooh, charades. I love it.
All right, ready? So Miami comes out of the gates. right? Miami comes out of the gates looking like a team with something to prove, looking like, you know what, screw what the media is saying, screw what the 305 gridiron is saying about our coach and our quarterback and our wide receivers and everything. We're going to show Anthony and Josh because that's what they're doing. They're only showing us because we're the only ones that matter.
We're the only important ones, really.
Obviously. Yeah. We're going to show Anthony and Josh that we mean business, and they're going to come out and they're going to look like a team that has not been on the field all year. We keep it close into the fourth quarter. Sorry, I can speak English.
No, you can't.
Where the Bills run away with it.
No.
Yeah.
You had me hooked.
As in the fourth quarter, we only get a field goal. They get 2 touchdowns to really pull ahead.
What does that play into? What's your final score then?
I have us getting blown out 17-31.
I have us getting blown out a little bit more than that, actually. And after the first 2 weeks, I'm not even sure we scored this many points, I have us 21-42.
Yeah.
Neither of us, again, I would like to point out that we made these predictions before the season.
Yes.
3 weeks in, neither of us have changed one of our predictions yet. Now, either that's tomfoolery or hope, although we're hoping for a loss here. Or I think we're hoping for less of a loss than the reality of what we think it could be.
Yeah. Yeah. No, this was a brutal honesty slap in the face kind of take that I genuinely believe will happen. I mean, and it could be much worse. I mean, we might not score 17 points in this game, if I'm being honest. Right?
It could be.
But hey, to your point, crazier things have happened. This NFL season already has shown us absolute batshit stuff can happen. So maybe we go out and we score a touchdown on the first 4 drives, and this game gets really interesting real fast.
I mean, the Chiefs are 0-2. The Packers look like the best team in the league. Like, we got a lot going on in the NFL. That's why it's the NFL. That's why it's fantastic. That's why Miami could most definitely beat Buffalo in primetime on Thursday night.
That's why you come to watch the 305 gridiron.
Well, that's true, too. For the jokes. So we don't have many jokes.
No.
We'll have to implement more jokes.
Lots of copium. Lots of copium.
All right. Big thank you to everyone out there who's listened to this show. If you made it to the end, super shout out. Please subscribe and like, because if you made it to the end, you obviously enjoyed some piece of this, or you forgot that you turned it on and you left it on. And, right. That's okay too.
Hey, that works too. Yeah, that works.
So listen, that was our preview for the Dolphins-Bills Thursday night matchup. We are 0-2 going into this game. The Bills are 2-0, I believe. So the battle of the winless versus the undefeateds. And we will have reactions to the show on Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern time live. We are sorry that this show was not live. Last minute schedule change. We ended up having to record it. But don't worry, we'll be back live on Monday to give you our reactions, which should be fantastic. And maybe we'll have some breaking news about a coaching fire. Who the hell knows? We'll see.
Or a crazy victory.
Or a crazy victory. Yeah. It's going to be insane.
Either way, it's going to be a great show.
Either way. All right. So for Mr. Josh over here, oh my God, the reverse camera gets me every time. Mr. Josh over here, a.k.a. Aqua Ace, and myself, Anthony Pinzone, this has been the 305 Gridiron. Thank you so much for watching, and we will catch you on Monday.